Pokémon is the highest grossing franchise, higher than the likes of Disney.
I heard the story over and over again.
Yeah, everyone knows. Moving on. Some of you may know, but I wasn't allowed to play Pokémon until I was 14. My mom was brainwashed by the satanic panic, a moral/spiritual panic that spread across America regarding satanic ritual abuse. Spoiler alert, the reports were greatly exaggerated. When Pokémon was allowed to be a part of my childhood, my world changed. I felt like a dormant special interest broke free. Every time I saw a commercial for Pokémon before I convinced my mom it wasn't evil, I was confused as to why my mom was so dead set on keeping Pokémon away from me. Nothing about it looked evil. I didn't have the heart to ask her since I was scared of my parents already. Regardless, I was mesmerized by the cute creatures and bright colors. It felt like a new world to explore was right in front of me, but it was prohibited in the name of religion. So, how was I able to venture into the world of Pokémon? My cousin, who you may have seen in vlogs, helped me convince my mom that Pokémon isn't satanic. Then on Christmas of 2008, I got Pokémon Pearl, and in that moment, a core memory, a core part of who I am, was solidified. Every Pokémon fan has one generation they have a bias towards. A majority say Gen 1 is the best, and I understand, as that's where Pokémon began. And the first movie is absolute cinema. I watched it every day for weeks, as it felt like home. My child brain couldn't comprehend why, but I know now. One of my core values is settling matters without violence. I find wars and senseless destruction deplorable. Ash jumping in to stop Pokemon from fighting, while on the outside looks stupid. Like, bro, you can't do anything. It was a statement, one of action, and not words. I can't help but tear up every time I watch this. The lore behind Pokemon's tears was removed from the final cut, as it made the movie too long for theaters. But they have healing powers, and that's why Ash was revived. Though, I find it poetic that the tears of all the Pokemon there bring him to life, as it displays that crying isn't weakness. It's scientifically proven that crying helps release endorphins, and eases pent-up emotions. Tears do heal. Am I reading too much into this? Perhaps. Where was I? Oh yeah, favorite generation. Mine is Gen 4. I hear some people say it's not their favorite, and that's okay. I grew up with the Gen 4 games, and Piplup is my favorite Pokemon. How that came to be is actually a cool story. When I first played the Pokemon card game, I used a pre-built deck against my cousin, and the first card I drew was Piplup. This card, right here. It's the original. I knew right there that this little guy was the one. While I have other favorites, Piplup remains my favorite through and through. I never evolved him in Pearl, but I would in future games. I'd imagine he would be able to talk like Meowth from the anime. Since I didn't evolve Piplup, the evolutionary power would transfer to his ability to communicate. I'm sure I'm not the only one who's made up lore for their favorite Pokemon. Right? Prove me wrong in the comments, please. A common theme in Pokemon is friendship. Not just in the anime, but in the games as well. You're encouraged to trade with friends and battle with them. I never had friends growing up, at least, not long-lasting ones, or friends who resonated with my hobbies. My twin brother and cousin were the only ones I had, and I couldn't have gone through life without them. However, I long for friends outside of family. I would form parasocial relationships with fictional characters like Katara, Sonic, and Cynthia. My plushies would also be my companions, which is why I have a hard time selling plushies. I'm emotionally attached to them. Even though Cynthia from Pokémon isn't a real character, I had the biggest squish on her. The way she unapologetically talks about her interests and cares for people and Pokémon is alluring. I felt, if anyone, she would be a great friend. However, she isn't real, and that hole in my heart couldn't be filled. Was it always there? Whatever the case was, I was desperate for friends. TLDR, friends I would make between the ages of 14 and early 20s were short-lived. They grew up and left me behind. There was a period in my life where Pokemon was removed from my life. I lost my old collection of cards, games, and collectibles. It was all sold. Except for these things I managed to keep. It wouldn't be until Sun and Moon that I'd returned to the world of Pokemon. I got Sun from my local GameStop. Rest in peace. And I remembered why I love Pokemon. Discovering new creatures and places I've never seen before. That's what it's all about. The thrill of adventure. The Pokemon games really capture that feeling so well, even to this day. As long as you steer clear from spoilers. I understand why people criticize the modern Pokemon games, since Nintendo is a billion-dollar company, and Pokemon is the highest grossing franchise. But remember, we went from pixels to full-on 3D adventures. So what if this tree looks like it's from Ocarina of Time? I still get immersed in the world of Pokemon, filled with childlike wonder as I explore a new world. That's something I want to keep no matter how old I get. I remember when I was cynical and critical of everything. What a dark and boring world that was. I understand wanting the best for something you love, but do you have to be a jerk about it? Do you have to suck the fun out of everything and ruin it for everyone? God forbid people have fun. I find myself enjoying life more when I'm not critical about something meant for enjoyment. Like, wow, life has color now. Fork found in kitchen. As a 30-year-old adult female, I still find myself enjoying Pokemon and feeling that same childlike wonder I felt when I first played Pokemon Pearl. I owe it to my IRL friends for keeping that alive. Going to various toy and game shows and conventions with them every year reminds me of why I still choose to live. It's true what Cyrus said, that this world is imperfect, but that's what makes it beautiful. How can one know joy if we don't know sorrow? Life demands balance. We need time, space, destruction, and creation. Pokemon is full of profound messages. It's more than a game series about sending cute monsters to fight each other. It's about friendship, teamwork, and understanding that we aren't so different after all. How can you call that satanic? I never learned those things from Bible school. For better or worse, I'm glad Pokemon is successful. I just wish greedy humans didn't scalp Pokemon cards. Story for another time, potentially. For me, Pokemon brings people together and gives us something to bond over that isn't politics or religion. I've never lost a friend over video games or anime, but I have over religion and politics. For as long as I live, Pokemon will be a part of my life. I can never get away from it. Every time I hear the music from Gen 4, I feel at peace and memories of playing the games flash back. Pokemon is a safe haven in a world so cold and chaotic. You're allowed to love things you loved as a kid. You don't need to have kids to justify buying that toy or game you want. This is your life, so have fun while you're here. Find joy in simple things and make fond memories. Be the very best, like no one ever was.